You know, we're always told that vegetable dahlia, that simple broken wheat porridge, is like the perfect, healthy way to start the day. But what if that so-called healthy breakfast is actually hiding a secret? What if it's secretly sending your body on a blood sugar roller coaster that just goes on and on? Well, we're about to find out. So, let's get right to it. What does this supposedly ideal breakfast really do to our blood sugar levels? To figure this out, we're going to look at the actual hard data from a continuous glucose monitor. And trust me, the answer is probably not what you're expecting. All right, first up, a breakfast experiment. We've got to meet our test subject. It's a really simple setup, but believe me, the findings are anything but. So here it is, our test subject, a standard 250-gram bowl of vegetable dahlia. It's about 400 calories. I mean, it definitely looks wholesome, right? But the real story is what that little glucose monitor is about to tell us. Okay, on to section 2, the initial spike. So, what's the immediate verdict? What did it do to blood sugar right after eating? Let's check out the numbers. And there we have it, a 30 milligram per deciliter increase. Now, for the person in this experiment, that's actually a fantastic result. Their personal goal is to keep any spike under that 30 mark, so this looks great. And yeah, that was the initial conclusion. The vegetable dahlia did exactly what was hoped. It seems like a total win for this healthy breakfast. Case closed, right? Well, not so fast. This brings us to part 3, and this is where the plot twist comes in. Things get really interesting when we compare the vegetable dahlia to a completely different version, a sweet one made with milk. Now get a load of this. The spike from the vegetable dahlia was 30. The spike from the sweet dahlia with milk, 29. I mean, they're practically identical. This is the puzzle. How on earth can the healthy, savory version have the exact same initial blood sugar impact as the sweet one? So just looking at this, you'd probably think, okay, so they're pretty much the same then, right? At least as far as that initial spike goes. It seems like your body doesn't really care which one you eat, but that's only because we're not seeing the whole story yet. And this slide, this is where the real story is. Look at that recovery time column. For the sweet dahlia, blood sugar was back to normal in just an hour and 15 minutes. Pretty quick. But for the vegetable dahlia, 2 hours and 15 minutes. That is a full hour longer. The initial spike was the same, but the aftermath, well, that was a completely different story.
So what on earth is going on here? Well, the answer isn't in the spike, it's in the ingredients. Let's move on to our next section, the ingredient breakdown, and we're going to solve this mystery once and for all.
And here it is. It's so simple. The vegetable dahlia, even with the veggies, was basically all dahlia, which is just broken wheat, a pure carbohydrate. But in the sweet version, the main ingredient wasn't the wheat, it was milk, which brings a whole lot of protein and fat into the mix.
Now, the science behind this comes down to something called the glycemic index, or GI. The easiest way to think about it is like a speed rating for food. It tells you how fast a food makes your blood sugar go up. And things that are high in protein and fat, like milk, have a low GI. They basically act like a brake, slowing down the whole sugar absorption process.
So here's the key. That protein and fat from the milk completely changed the game. It slammed the brakes on that sugar rush, which allowed the body to recover way, way faster. Meanwhile, the vegetable dahlia, being almost pure carbs, was like flooring the gas pedal with no brakes, keeping that blood sugar high for much, much longer.
You know, this isn't just about dahlia. This is a super powerful principle you can apply to almost anything you eat. And that brings us to our final section, your glycemic control toolkit, where we turn all this info into something you can actually use. Really, the biggest takeaway from this whole experiment is that you are not a victim of carbohydrates. You have control. By being just a little bit strategic about what you pair your carbs with, you can actually manage your body's blood sugar response and totally avoid those long, drawn-out sugar highs.
And the strategy is super simple. You've got 2 powerful tools in your toolkit. First, add fiber. The source gives a great example. If a plain bowl of macaroni sends your sugar through the roof, try eating a big salad with it next time. Second, add protein and healthy fats. Pair that same pasta with a couple of eggs. All of a sudden, it's a completely different meal for your body. It's all about building a balanced plate, not being afraid of one ingredient.
And that kind of leaves us with a final question. This whole experiment proves that how healthy a food is, it's not just about the label. It's about how your body, your unique body, responds to it over time. So I'll just leave you with this. What's one healthy food in your diet that, after hearing this, might deserve a second look? Thanks for tuning into this explainer.